This is the second Rites of Passage youth exchange that I've done. The first one is in 2005, and that focused very much on the environment, the natural environment and wilderness areas. And this one was more urban. We based it in Conwy and worked with the built environment, and also this ancient structure, the castle, the town walls. So it was a bit different, but we used the same processes. The idea comes from the sensory labyrinth theatre work that I've been working with adults, but it's applied to as a kind of rites of passage, as an ordeal for young people to go through it, so they achieve some feeling of adulthood. Well, the first thing that happens is that there's a kind of 3-day training where we sensitize them to themselves, the senses, all the senses, and then to the environment. They first build an environment, a kind of synthetic environment, and find their place in that, and that rehearses them to move out, expanded into the environment of the town and find their place in the town. And then we basically connect those places into a labyrinth. Of course, there are certain parameters, some framework I have to give them to work within. And in this case, it was one section of the wall and one street with small streets running off it up to the wall. So they found their place, and the added element in this was that they would research the sensory memories of the people living in those streets and build their sensory moments from that research. So there's a connection to the local community. They devise it almost entirely from their sensitivity to where they are and what they've absorbed up to that point. We do something called a sensory journey, which is a bit like the labyrinth, but it's within that fabricated world that I talked about. They create a journey of the senses, and that's their first experience of it, and they realize how powerful it is. And then they're working with very subtle things rather than, so when you talk about characterization, this thing about wearing a costume and a mask and something like that, it's not related to this work. What's related to this work is it's very simple but very subtle. The young people come from Romania, Estonia, Lithuania, Portugal, Italy and Wales. There's 6 countries here. And they all come from organizations that work with young people, many of them with young disadvantaged people. So some of them are coming from disadvantaged backgrounds or working with young people with disadvantaged backgrounds. And what we find is that they go back quite inspired with this work, and there are simple things they can try out with those young people as well. So there's a multiplication effect, a big multiplication effect in this work.
Okay, it's not my first experience. I work on this since 2003 with you and other crews, other groups. But it's amazing that every time is different, but every time is working, and the groups can get, in the end, usually everybody gets something. Keep it on site to be safe. For me, personally, I once said, and it's still true, they took out my rest, but they give me the peace. So, it's what this work means for me. It's a kind of a peaceful thing. It's to be in touch with myself and with the others, things that we can do in our daily life.
This situation I can see different style to live, yeah, and other people, and I can use the English as forma di sopravvivenza.
Come?
Mm,
Forma di sopravvivenza.
For survive.
to survive. To survive.
For me, it was really well. It's like almost amazing how in such little time a group of we couldn't choose people which were even more different than we all are, and the energy in the whole group was really strong and really for me it was really deep and in the artistical level very profound. Yeah, yeah. Something like that, yeah.
And I think that what we do is a social action, and we act sociocentric and not egocentrically. I think it's like egoless. There is no ego. No, we communicate and we are just what we feel, because I think that before we think, we feel, and this is the most important for me.